You are live, it says, except I can't see anybody on the screen. Just a minute. Okay. Sorry, guys, girls. We are live. Except I'm not in the right camera. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So far, there's no one. Is Dawn? Are you here, Dawn? No one's here yet. So I guess we just wait.
Well, we can start talking. We've been live for 36 seconds now.
Yeah, let's talk.
True. Okay, well, Summer, you are going to mod. So if they have questions. Hi, Susie. Welcome, welcome.
Susie.
Hey, Susie. And Dawn.
So I was saying Summer's going to be backstage. Hi, Susan. Welcome.
Hey, Susan.
There's
Dawn Gloves is back. There she is.
And so Summer's going to be in the, what's it called? The back office?
Backstage.
Backstage.
I'm going to be backstage taking care of things while they talk.
So you want them to put question in all caps if they have that?
Question or comment in all caps. That would be very helpful. Thank you.
You look beautiful. So I'm going to
I'm just messing with my hair.
Send you back now.
Okay, darling. Thank you. Y'all have a great
night. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Of course.
All right. And there is the star of the show. Hi, Pup Groomer.
Hey, Jen.
Jen. I don't know everybody's real name, so you'll have to excuse me on that part. So anyway, I guess we'll go ahead and get started so as not to delay. Unless you want to wait a few minutes and say hi to the people. There's Brian. Hi, Brian.
Brian's here. Hi, Brian. Hi, Smoke.
Okay, so Crickett is your real name. We know this. And you've had quite a life, I guess, like we all have. It's a crazy thing called life. Indeed. And so we talked about maybe starting out a little bit of your childhood and touch as much on that or as little on that as you want to, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. I was born in South Central Wisconsin, a tiny little town that the name of it sounds like a marble dropping into a toilet. I was born in a town called Beloit. And when we were small, my mom got married to a guy who lived up here in Upper Hoth. And he was an Air Force guy. So we moved up to the Air Force base up here, Air Force base housing. And we didn't find out until it was too late, as is often the case, that he was not only a type A personality, but he was also an alcoholic.
Oh.
He was fine with my baby brother, who was named after him. And he was fine with my older sister because she kind of looked like him.
So you're the middle child?
Oh, I sure am. You couldn't tell?
The one that's left out all the time?
The black sheep of the family, the weirdo. Now, I was never made to feel like a black sheep by my mom. I never was. So, but yeah, I was the middle child, and I resembled my mom. And in more ways than one. I was outspoken like she was, and still is. And so I guess I was the kid that he took it all out on.
Because you resembled your mother.
Yep. I resembled my mother instead of him. So, yeah, we didn't have a real quality relationship. And he was not physically abusive with me. He was just emotionally and verbally abusive to me.
That's just as bad.
Yeah, it is. It is. That leaves scars.
Yeah.
And when he became physically abusive to her, that was it for her. She said, nope,
Good.
nope, nope, nope.
Good.
So,
because so many of them stay after that, you know.
yeah, no, she was not about that life. So she packed the three of us up, and we were about 2, 6, and 10 at the time.
Wow.
And she snuck us out the back door and over to a friend's house who happened to be an MP. And we stayed overnight there, and then we went to a battered women's shelter.
Oh, wow.
She got her act together. She got her poop in a group, as were, and got on Section 8 and AFDC and food stamps and WIC and all that stuff, and got us an apartment and raised up the three of us by herself while putting herself through nursing school at the same time.
Yay for mom.
Yeah, she's kind of a tiny little superhero.
She's a trooper. Good for her.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
a trooper.
She is. She is. She is no joke, and she's still a trooper.
Yeah, we can tell.
Ain't nothing stopping her. She's just, she gonna do what she gonna do.
We all love your mommy. I remember the first night I saw you. I went on, and your mom was in the background, and I asked who you two were, and I said, "Can you introduce yourself?" And then that's how I met you. Was you and your mom were on? I think it was the first night you went on live after Doug had passed.
Okay, sure.
And then every night after that, you were on.
Well, she just gets absolutely tickled every time she gets all these greetings from people. People will hear her in the background or whatever, and they're like, "Hi, Mrs. Crickett's mom," and she just loves it. She thinks it's delightful.
That's good. That's good. So, your mom raised you kids, and it was probably hard for a while. And what happened after that?
Well, she raised us up. It was not an easy time. I mean, we were we were not rolling in it by any means, and it wasn't until we were teenagers that things started to loosen up a little bit. She got through nursing school, she passed her state boards, and she was working, and then things finally started to ease up a little bit. And then she met my stepdad, and I want to say 15 or 16 when they got married. It took her a long time to find the right one, and she finally did. And
well, at least she didn't jump into another bad relationship. She learned her lesson, I guess.
I think so, because at the first hint of things not being in any way what she was willing to tolerate, they were gone.
Good for her.
And anybody who showed up to take her out on a date had to deal with three very judgy little monkeys sitting on the couch, lined up, staring at him, giving him the hairy eyeball. And then whoever it was that was elected to do that would stay up with cups of hot cocoa waiting for mom to get home so that we could let her know what the jury had decided and whether or not this person was allowed a second date.
Cool. That's funny.
So, yeah.
So she gets married, and then you move out. I'm assuming. How old are you when you moved out?
I was 20. Well, I had moved out earlier than that, and I was living with a boyfriend here in Hoth. But at 20, I fled Minnesota. I went to the East Coast, which is where I felt like I belonged.
Wow.
And I lived with friends in Jersey for a little over a year, and that was when I fell into the travel industry quite by accident.
Oh, you had mentioned that.
Yeah.
What's the travel industry exactly?
Well, I kind of fell into it because my one of the people that I was living with was working in IT for a multi-client corporate agency, and she said, "Hey, they need a receptionist. They need somebody to answer phones and stuff like that." And I said, "Okay, well, I'll go in, I'll interview." And I went in and I interviewed. I got the job, and eventually the owner of the company said, "You're bored," and I'm like, I would never say anything like that. Terrified, right, that I'm about to lose my job. And he said, "Why don't we send you to classes in Manhattan so you can learn how to use the reservation system that we have here. It's called Apollo." And I was like, "Wait, what? You want to train me to become an agent?" He said, "Yeah, sure do."
Cool.
So I went to classes in Manhattan, and I, started learning how to be a travel agent. And
you know what? I had it mixed up. Sorry to interrupt you. I thought that you were talking about when you traveled around the country with the Renaissance people. I thought that's what you were talking about.
No,
Sorry.
ma'am.
Okay, the travel industry. Now I get it. Sorry.
Yep. No, I wasn't a road rennie. I didn't fully put on my gypsy persona for a few years yet.
I was confused for a minute. Okay. Duh.
That's all right.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I got into the travel industry, and then I got my very first big girl all by myself apartment in the Bronx.
Cool.
When I was about 21, and started just really living my best life in New York. And I loved it. And it's where my heart still is
Really?
New York. Yeah, I love it so much.
That's one place I've never been.
Oh, it's amazing. It's big, and it's loud, and it's stinky, and it's messy and fantastic. Yeah. I love it so much.
One day. One day.
You will.
I will.
Yes, you will.
Everywhere else, so. New England. I'd like to go to New York and New England,
Big old world out there. I haven't even seen a fraction of it.
And then, okay. I forget what you had a house fire after that, right?
I did.
You want to go there now, or?
I'm sure. I was in I had been living in Connecticut, and then I moved to LA. And I was there for a total of 5 years. And after the first year, I wanted nothing more than to leave, because I knew that LA and I needed to see other people.
Does that mean you didn't like it? Or
I definitely did not like it, and I don't think she liked me.
Okay.
I don't think LA liked me at all. So I got out there, moved out there for a job. Didn't know until after I got there that the job was going to be part-time, not full-time. And then there were a number of communication missteps. I wound up losing that job. I did some couch surfing. I wound up getting a job in retail.
Yeah.
And then I finally found some people that would let me move in with them. And it was in a beautiful Victorian 2.5-story house over by USC. And about 3 weeks after I moved in, which is, I moved in December, and I had moved out there the previous November. So it's just over a year that I had been in LA. I'm finally getting settled in. I had been there for 3 weeks. Most of my stuff was still in nice, highly flammable boxing.
Oh, no.
And the next door neighbor, who was also in a Victorian, had a dispute with the city because he wanted to turn his house into, he wanted to break it up into smaller, like dorm size apartments. And the city said, excuse me, it's on the National Register of Historic Landmarks. No, you can't do that.
Wow.
So if he didn't light the match, he paid somebody else to do it, to set his own house
Oh,
on fire.
no.
And it leapt over 2 hours.
Oh, my gosh.
This was 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 days before Christmas.
Oh, my gosh. And you were home then?
I was, because it was middle of the night. I had
Oh,
been
my
working the
God.
Christmas rush because I was working in retail. So, 4 days before Christmas in retail is not a calm, easy
No.
time. And I had just gone to bed when
To the ground?
it did not, but we were on the second floor.
Mm.
There were 4 of us living up there, and we walked out. I walked out with both of my cats and a cat carrier. We were out the front door about 10 seconds before the windows blew in and the lights went out.
Oh, my gosh.
And when they walked me through it, the fire chief walked us through it the next day. I saw where my bed was, and on it were the charred rafters that had fallen from the attic down onto my bed.
Wow. That's eye-opening, I bet.
Yeah. Yeah, it is eye-opening. I lost basically everything except my cats and my life.
Well, that's all counts. So.
Yeah, the teddy bear I got the day I was born, gone. A full professional brush roll from MAC, gone. Limited edition pigments, books, DVDs.
Your belongings, yeah.
Everything. You are forced to get Zen real friggin' quick.
I told you I had a house fire also, so I know.
Yeah.
I had photos too, because I'm old as dirt, you guys.
Oh, I had photos.
Yeah, the photos. I think that's what I missed the most, because we didn't have digital back then.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I was still rocking a flip phone back in those days. This was 2006.
Okay.
So, yeah, I became hypervigilant at that point.
That's a symptom.
Yeah, it is. I have a nose to this day that can tell you if somebody is using a wood stove within like a 5-mile radius. I automatically know. I smell it. Living in LA, because there are fires every year, and that always sent me over the edge. I was in a during the Santa Anas every year, I was always in a state of heightened alert. And I was experiencing panic attacks. It was, there was a spontaneous barbecue outside work. Somebody's car caught on fire and was burning, and I was at work in Santa Monica, and we had the doors open because that's what we did. And so all that smoke is pouring in, and I was absolutely, thankfully my friend and coworker caught me before I hit the floor, because I hyperventilated so hard that I passed out. But he helped me get a med into me, and just sat there with me, rubbing my back and talking to me while I ugly cried and hyperventilated, and eventually the med kicked in and I was able to start breathing again and calm down. But so it was
caused you major trauma. And it's probably still in there somewhere, right?
Well, I've been working through it and have made so much progress.
Good.
But I'm stubborn, and I've said it before that, I'm a Virgo, and we are
Me too.
control freaks. Yep. And when I know that I can't control anybody else. I know that I can't. But when I can't control me, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of work on it just on my own. Probably not the wisest thing to be doing it without the assistance of a trained professional, but I just
Sometimes you have to do what you have to do, though.
yeah, I couldn't keep living my life like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't. So it started with visiting a friend of mine, and he wanted to go and have a bonfire on the beach in one of those little, fire rings that they have on the beach. I was visiting him in El Segundo, and he said, I want to have a bonfire on the beach, and I don't want everybody to think that I'm some kind of loser who is, can't get anybody to come and sit on the beach with him. So will you please come out and have a bonfire on the beach with me when you're visiting? And I'm like, how about no?
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I am an engineer, and I will find all the logic for you so that you can approach this in a way where you don't have to be afraid. And if you are, you have a clear line of escape.
Right.
I'll park the car within your eyesight, within your eye line. I'll make sure we're going to have literally trillions of gallons of water feet away from us. So you are going to be safe, and I will make sure that you are safe. And so I did it.
Yeah.
And I sat next to that fire, and I put food into that fire. I fed it wood, and we cooked our own food on it. We cooked dinner on the fire.
Cool.
And I got back to his house without panicking or anything. I got back to his house, slammed a glass of wine, and went into the shower and cried for 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. But you did it.
But I did it. And then we did it again later that week.
Oh, cool.
And he said, do you realize what you've done?
Yeah.
You know how huge this is? And so I had contacted a friend of mine who was an artist, and he drew up my Phoenix. And it was the day after the second fire that my friend packed me into the car and said, we're going to Pasadena, and we're going to go get your merit badge, your level up.
Cool.
So that was this. And I'm still working on it to this day, but now it's gotten to the point where I don't hyperventilate if I smell wood stove anymore. It's a little dicey if it smells like an electrical fire. Yeah. That's going to set me off. But if it's like a wood stove or an outdoor campfire or something like that, I can roll with that now. And in fact, my neighbors, when it's summer or autumn evenings and they want to have a fire in their fire pit, they ring me up. They're a quarter mile down the road, and they're like, hey, we're going to have a fire. Can you come over and build it for us?
Really?
Yeah. And they, they check in with me and, how you doing? You doing okay? How are you feeling? They check in with me, but they don't hover. Right. And they know what my issues are, and they let me work through it. And that's
cool.
That's
good people to have around.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that in itself has been a journey, but I can't get behind that hypervigilant life. It just,
that will kill you.
Yeah, it can. It can. So I didn't want to keep being that way.
Are you able to make s'mores?
I can.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I can build fires. I can light fires. I can.
Well, you have really come a long way. That is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. It's massive. It's tremendous. And I'm really proud of myself.
Well, you should be. You should be. I never worked through my trauma with the fire, so because I think I had so many bigger traumas after that that I don't even really think of the fire anymore. But when it hit a nerve when you were talking about it, so I can imagine maybe it's back there somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Those things, they like to hide and be sneaky, and they'll punch you in the gut when you least expect it.
Yeah. So then after that, do you want to talk? Okay.
Well, after that, literally in the midst of all of this, a year and a day after the fire, I was at my boyfriend at the time's place, and just kind of decided to spend the anniversary of the house fire away from where I lived.
Right.
Because I was kind of a mess. And I go outside to smoke a cigarette the next morning, and I come back in and there's a voicemail waiting for me. And it's my then sister-in-law saying that my mother has been in a terrible accident and nobody knows what's going on. So I called her back, and sure enough, Mom had been in a head-on collision with another driver. The weather was crappy. The visibility sucked. The roads were in terrible condition. And she had 3 compound fractures, had to be removed from the car through the back seat on the driver's side because the dashboard had come in such a way that it was crushing her, and so they had to use like jaws of life and all that and bring her out the back seat. And so those 2 events are basically the reason that from about Thanksgiving to the day after New Year's, I really just want to hide under my bed and eat Xanax like cereal, which is not healthy.
No.
But I'm not into the holidays. I don't like them. They're a triggering time for a lot of people, and they certainly are for me. And I can figure that out because of the fact that, there's only so much trauma that a person can take during a certain
time period
of year where it becomes that whole time of year starts being toxic.
Well, so maybe next year we can have our cruise or wherever we're going to go next year during the holidays, because I don't like the holidays either.
Yeah, and you're not alone. There are a lot of people that find the holidays really challenging. So I know that I'm not a huge fan. I know that, you're not a huge fan. Dawn Gloves. Yep. She's not into it. We are not alone in that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's several of us. I liked it until my mom disconnected from me, and so I can't spend time with the rest of my family. I'm like the only one that's not invited.
Yeah. But, well, cheers, Xenu Marlene.
Oh, Xenu Marlene. I forgot about that. I don't even have a hot cherry Coke, and I don't even drink sodas very often, but I was at Walmart after my doctor's appointment today, and it just sounded good. So Xenu Marlene. Sorry, that went down the wrong pipe.
Story of my life. I'm real good at swallowing things incorrectly.
Just a minute.
Care for JC, we see you. You're saying I used to like big groups for the holidays, but now just hubby and I don't like drama. Yes.
Thank you so much. Sorry, guys. I had to call. Thanks for taking over.
Sure, no problem.
I'm not used to watching the chat and listening. I'm so glad Summer's back there. I'm so glad you're used to it because you knew exactly what to do. These are the things I need to learn,
It does take some getting used to.
Yeah.
It does take some getting used to.
And then I guess you kind of relax into it after that and just be done with it, huh?
Yeah.
After the nervousness goes away. And then let's see. Do you want to talk about your job or your relationship that wasn't so
Well, the next thing that happened in the timeline was the
okay.
relationship.
Right.
I jumped into a relationship, even though I tried to set boundaries, those boundaries were not respected. And that should have been the first red flag. And the relationship turned out to be incredibly verbally and mentally abusive. Again, not physically. I think he knew better. When your person, whoever they are, has a lot of friends with a lot of really big swords, because this is after I had been on the Ren Fair circuit.
Okay.
Yeah, when they have a lot of friends with really big swords,
And you're talking about real swords.
oh yeah, yeah, you tend to think twice about
Right.
laying a hand on them. And so he did, but the rest of it was the rest of that existence was really a lot of torment. And or mental abuse, a lot of mental abuse, a lot of verbal abuse. And some of this is when I'm trying to work,
Right.
because I was working from home. I was a travel agent, but I was working from home.
So
And
you're around 24/7 then.
oh yeah.
Oh,
So there was no getting out of it.
right.
And he would just start ranting and raving any old time he wanted to. Never mind that I might be on the phone with a client. So that's real professional.
That will increase your business, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to get repeat customers. So that was challenging. I say, with the biggest smile possible. And I finally snapped, and I reached out to some friends who suddenly realized that they needed a dog sitter because their dog had gotten kicked out of doggy daycare
Oh no.
for being a little too enthusiastic. So they said, well, we'll come and get you. You can live here. We have a guest room. And if you take care of the
Whoa.
doggos, then, that's, room and board basically.
Whoa. Whoa.
So I did that, and I fled, and spent a lot of time after that with waking nightmares.
Sorry.
It was significantly unpleasant, Brian. He was significantly unpleasant. He was unbalanced. There was a whole lot going on there.
He didn't even
And
like
from what I
himself.
understand, he's gotten some help since then, but he certainly was not willing to get help when I was there.
Wow.
And it was much to my detriment. But eventually he got help, and that's great. And I hope he's a lot more healthy. And I hope that whatever partner he has is also more healthy.
Of course, we want to wish well our abusers because you have to. You can't let it eat at you. I've learned that too. As much as I'm living with one, I had to really get over it. But yeah, we can't keep that unforgiveness in our hearts, or else it will just make us miserable.
Well, you might not be able to, honestly. I still feel all kinds of ways about my my former stepfather
Oh, I'm sure.
from when
Yeah.
I was small, and I think a lot of terrible things about him. Not every day, but
Yeah, well, that's understandable. And it's different when you're a child and when you're an adult,
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as an adult, it's getting over the shame of allowing yourself to be in that kind of situation anyway, even though there shouldn't be any shame. But of course, this is what people feel when they're in those kinds of relationships or have gotten out of those relationships. There's guilt, there's shame, there's all kinds of stuff.
Right.
And so that's something you have to work through as an adult. But, the stuff that happened when I was small.
When you were innocent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's way different.
So I'm certain that I'll be working through that for a long time. But thankfully,
probably the rest of your life.
It doesn't affect my everyday existence.
But it's there.
Yeah, it is still here, but it's not something that has hindered me. I've been able to bounce back from, relationships, from other traumas, from 9/11, from a lot of other things in significantly better shape.
Right.
So every once in a while, I just get a little cranky about it, and then I move on.
A little snarky.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you're allowed to.
Thank you.
I didn't have to tell you that, but
well, hello, Barb. What's up, sister bitch?
Which one? Who? Barb? Which Barb? There's so many of them.
This is Barb Sylvie, SPTV Tattoo Warrior.
Okay.
That
Sorry, Barb. Tattoo Warrior. I don't know everybody's real name. I'm trying to learn.
See, I have to differentiate between the two because there's that one. Thank you very much for telling me I look purty. There's her, and then there's Barbara, who is Tampa Bay.
So, she doesn't like to be called Barb, right?
Correct. Barbara. She prefers to be Barbara. So SPTV Tattoo Warrior is Barb. Tampa B Man is Barbara. And that's just how it be.
Okay. I'll remember that one. So we're doing good. I'm so glad there's people here. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Dawn Gloves is the sweetest. Cricket, I need you to teach me that superpower. I used to be able to bounce back, but after 2022, it seems almost impossible. Girl, I hear you. And it's not a one-day thing. You want to talk maddening little baby steps. That's what it is. Maddening baby steps.
I think like the willingness to want to get better is where it starts, really. And then once you do that, then then the baby steps start. Because it's not a fast process. I wish it was.
Yeah.
I wish it was. So you got your dog sitting job and you moved away from the verbal and emotional and mental abuse. And when did you start working at the rehab? Was it a rehab or?
Yep. And that was a significant number of years later. I lived in Jersey with those two and the dogs and all the cats and everything else. And I lived with them for a few years. And then I moved into Brooklyn and lived there for about a year and a half. And then it became clear that my folks needed somebody a little bit more spry around the house. And I qualify because I'm a little bit more spry. So I moved back here to Hoth, where the folks are. And
what year was that?
I'm sorry?
What year was that?
2015.
Okay.
2015 was when I moved back here. And I was looking for work and managed to get a job working at a residential treatment facility for women with substance use disorders. So it was a rehab in all intents and for all intents and purposes.
Okay.
And I managed to get a job on the night shift because nobody wanted to work the night shift. And I said, give to me all of your night shifts. I am awake at night, so I want them all. So I worked a lot of night shifts. And I loved it. And I loved the clients that were there. They're some of the best people I've ever met.
Cool.
And they remain some of the best people I've ever met. They're absolutely delightful humans. And I love running into them out in the wild because it gives me the ability to see how they are out and thriving on their own.
Right. See
And
the progress too, you know.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Yes, intensive porpoises, Dawn. All intensive porpoises. Very serious porpoises. But yeah,
But you experienced some problems there, right?
I sure did, and it wasn't due to anything that the clients put me through. It wasn't due to anything that they had done except be. It was really all down to the management, the people who ran the place, the people who ran the larger nonprofit organization that owned it.
Okay.
It was down to them.
Right. And what
they were exercising undue influence and coercive control over not only their clients, but their staff as well.
Wow. And do you want to tell us what that is, or do you want me to? I can read what I
Please go right ahead.
The internet. I looked up a few things about. First, I typed in is coercive. How do you say?
Coercive control.
Coercive control, the same as undue influence. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And
they're very similar.
Yeah, they are. Gosh, now, sorry, guys. I knew this would happen because I have more than one sheet here. That always happens with me. Let's see. I am so sorry. Gosh, this is embarrassing now. Okay.
Don't panic.
It's
all good.
Okay, right here. It says, "What's the difference? The difference between intimidation and coercion?" It says intimidation is intentional behavior that would cause a person of reasonable apprehension to fear injury or harm. Coercion is compelling a party to act in an involuntary manner by use of threats, including threats of force. So that's what they say the difference is. But you had both of it going on, both going on.
We did. We were being manipulated day in, day out. Yes.
Thanks.
What your JC says. You're doing great, Kelly.
Thank you so much. I'm going to relax a little bit more. I was relaxed until I had to read off that paper. Thank you, you guys, for the support. I appreciate it. Sorry to interrupt.
With us, they would dangle rewards that they never meant to give out. they repeatedly denied me time off when I was requesting mental health days.
Oh my gosh.
And putting that it was a mental health break on the paperwork because you had to fill out a form to request time off. So that's what I was doing. And they kept saying, nope, you can't. No, you can't go. No, we're short staffed. No, this, no, that.
Wow.
No, nobody's getting time off during this period of time, when that was an actual straight up lie, because part of the reason we were short staffed is because another person was gone for 2 weeks.
So they showed favoritism.
Oh yeah.
Too.
Oh yeah. They if you were sick, the pressure for you to go in, even if you were sick, was tremendous. And a coworker and very good friend of mine actually was in hospital, and they were doing bone marrow biopsies because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her, and she was in active organ failure.
Oh my gosh.
And the program director for the house that we worked for kept texting her and calling her and saying, well, you have to come in and sign your timesheet.
Oh my gosh.
And, you know, my friend is like, I don't know what part of multiple organ failure you're missing, or
That's
in hospital having
unbelievable.
bone marrow biopsies, but I'm not coming in to sign my timesheet. Find a way around it.
Sign my name, for God's sake.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Handle it.
Yeah.
Get the payroll turned in. Handle it. I'm a little bit indisposed at the moment.
They just didn't care.
No, they didn't.
That's all that is. It's just like, I call it poofta. When I poof somebody, that's, you know, I don't care. Poofta.
Sure.
Poofta.
But, you know, they, oh, you're leaving on a jet plane? Okay, Barb.
Bye. Thanks so much for being here. Be safe. I hope you're going somewhere fun.
May your flight be uneventful.
Thanks, Brian.
They would tell
Hi,
us.
my sister George.
Hi, my sister George.
I've never seen my sister George.
Oh yeah, she shows up in my chat very frequently.
Cool.
Yeah.
I need to pay better attention.
Not like you don't have a whole lot of stuff going on all at once.
A lot of times when you're on, I'm sitting here at my desk working, so I'm just listening. I'm not watching the screen, you know.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I was working for them for 3 years, and every day it got worse. And it got to the point where they were shaming us for wanting to be paid adequately. And, you know, it was brought up that we could go either to the McDonald's 2 blocks away, or to a local gas station convenience store chain and get a job that paid us more.
Wow.
For less responsibility than we were being paid, and holding the lives of 24 humans in our hands, because I was administering meds.
Wow.
I was the person there on the overnight. I was, you know, yeah, you want to talk about night meds. I didn't have this song back then, but I was.
You were the night med queen. Oh, that's funny. So
we had all of this responsibility on our hands,
right?
And you know, when we brought that up, in the annual conference, the CEO at the time said, "Well, yeah, you could go flip burgers, or you could go work for a gas
station." Scientology telling them they're going to end up flipping burgers if they left the cult.
Yeah, well, this was a little bit different. He decided to just slam everybody who flips burgers, because he's like, yeah, but are you going to feel as fulfilled if you go and do that?
Yeah, my stomach would be filled.
My freaking bills would be fulfilled. That'd be nice. Culty, 100% culty.
Wow.
And then they decided something which is completely against the law, by the way, that even though the house was full, they were only going to have one person working the overnight shift instead of two.
That is so
One
against
person
the
to keep
law.
an eye on 24.
Yeah, no.
And they chose to one of the gaslight much? Yeah, seriously. Oh yeah, let's put up a sign in the office that says, "Hey, everybody who has perfect attendance and doesn't call in sick during the month of December is going to be entered in for a drawing for a Walmart gift card or something." That drawing never happened.
Ah,
I was the only one who had perfect attendance during that time, and that drawing never happened.
and there's nothing you can do about it. That's what
course not.
sucks. That's what sucks so bad, you know. And they know it too. Like people like that, they are so bad, so bad.
Yeah. Well, then they decided to, one of the counselors there decided that she was going to make it a policy that we had to dead name one of our clients. One of our clients was choosing to go by a different name, a different first name, and all of the abuse and trauma that this person had suffered, they had done so under their birth name. And so they were choosing a different name and, you know, trying to start fresh and create a new identity for themselves. And their counselor said, no, you have to call them by the name that they are no longer using, the name that's attached to all of that trauma.
That's so damaging.
It caused this person to have a break in their mental health. And I wound up having to, how did these guys even get the ability to operate a rehab center? Yeah, because they wanted to. They were set up as a nonprofit. They
just flying under the radar somehow, right?
Oh, they weren't under the radar, but their actions were.
Yeah.
And we went to overnight at a similar place. The staff treatment was horrible. Yeah. Well, they were treating the staff and the clients this way. And I had been telling my clients for ages how to stand up, how to advocate for themselves. And I finally hit the wall and said, I have to walk the walk. I can't just talk the talk. So I have to stand up and advocate for myself. And another person with whom I worked decided to do so with me. And we went to the compliance officer for the company, and we dropped a lot of dimes. Right. We told him everything. And we had dates, and we had times, and we had photos of schedules, and we had the whole 9 yards. And it became very clear to us very, very, very quickly that nothing was going to change.
Wow.
So we left.
Unbelievable.
And I went home and I slept for 2 weeks.
Wow. So did you quit that day? Like, or soon
a couple days after that?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You knew your hands were tied, right? And
yeah. I was labeled the toxic one.
Oh, of course. Of course.
And I had been doing some research about other cults, you know, Scientology, FLDS, Heaven's Gate, Jonestown, and I had been learning about coercive control. I'd been learning about undue influence, and it wasn't until afterward, significantly well afterward, that I started processing some of the things that had happened to me and some of the things that my body was going through. And, you know, even just the physical response for getting out, because everyone that I've heard talk about getting out of a cult, one of the first things they do is sleep.
Yeah.
And I slept for damn near 2 weeks solid.
And
when
when
I
you're
left.
in it, like you don't realize at the time what's going on, because like they say, you never think you're in a cult when you're in it. You have to be removed from it to realize. And it sounds like you didn't realize exactly what was going on.
Not until much later. Not until much later did I knew it was bad, but I didn't really know what else it was or
you didn't
how
have
to
names
process
for it. You didn't have the names for the stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I bet it hit you like a ton of bricks.
Sure did.
To know there was names and that, that other people experience the same thing, and there's names for it. And thank goodness you learned that, because
and having names to put on it, honestly, is like it's such a revelation.
Yes, because you don't feel like so lost.
Yeah.
You feel like, you can make some sense out of it, at least if you know what it's called.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's why I've been looking for a diagnosis for my chronic pain for so long, because if I have a diagnosis, then at least I have a way, I know what direction to look in.
Right.
To start.
And so you were there for 3 years, you said?
Yep.
And so how long have you been away from that job?
6 years.
Okay.
6 years now, or it'll be 6 years next month.
Right. Well, because I'm trying to figure out, I'm not a doctor, of course. We all know that. If I wanted patients, I'd be a doctor. People tell me, you need to have more patients. I said, if I wanted patients, I would be a doctor. It's my funny joke. But no, what I was going to say is, like, the pain is so weird. I live in chronic pain, but I know why I have my pain. Because, since my accident and my injury causes the pain. But for the people that experience pain, chronic pain, and they don't know why, it's so maddening. I mean, it's maddening knowing why, but not knowing why, golly,
Yep.
I don't know. I don't even know what to say to people, like, I do know what you're talking about, to the extent I know what it is like to live with pain. It has a life of its own. It becomes a life of its own.
It does.
So I do know that part. And people that don't live in pain have no understanding. They might have, there's plenty, a lot of people with enough empathy, but you really have to experience it, like, to truly understand it.
Yeah.
And but not knowing the cause, I don't know. That I think that would make it a lot harder. So
it does.
I salute you. And hopefully one day, you'll have a reason and a name for it.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And I went to my doctor, just my general practitioner today, and it's been like probably over 10 years since I've been to a neurologist, and they talked me into going to see a neurologist because there's so many new things out there, and so who knows, maybe I'll find some help that I don't know is out there. I gave up after, it's been 20, my accident was in 2022. So it's been a lot of years. And, after a while, you just give up. I gave up, like, ever getting true help.
I refuse. I don't
have as big of balls as you do. I don't, I give up easy. But anyway, maybe the neurologist will be able to tell me something. And I hope for you that someday you may know what it is, the cause is. Have you thought about that shot that they're talking about?
I have. And I've actually, I talked to my doctor about it, and he had not heard about it.
Oh.
but I gave him the name of it and what it was currently FDA approved for and all of that fun stuff. So he's going to be looking into it, and we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
let us
see
know
what
what he says.
happens.
Let us know what he says.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I've had that or not, because I remember years ago I was getting injections, because a lot of times these pain doctors make you do all the other things along with the narcotic pain medication, so they feel justified in giving you, you know, the pain medication. They want you to do all this other stuff too. And excuse me, the one doctor I had was giving me shots in my neck, but I'm not sure what they were. I kind of think it wasn't the same thing.
Probably not.
If it was, it didn't help me.
Right.
But I guess I could find out if I really wanted to. But yeah, I've been thinking about that shot also.
Well, we'll see what my doctor has to say about it, but I gave him something to think about, and he gave me stuff to think about, and between the two of us, I think it was a pretty productive appointment, honestly.
Good.
Do you want to get to the starred questions?
Yeah, you want to help me?
Sure.
Let's see. What do I just scroll up or down? Let's see. Up. Wait. It's moving. Oh, there it goes. I'm doing something wrong. What am I doing wrong? Oh, I see. Okay. Can you move it, or do I have to move it? Oh.
Well, let's see. I don't know.
I saw some.
Yeah.
I thought I saw some. What is going on? What am I doing? I'm going to pop you on, Summer. You ready? No? How come I can't find? Do I have to push hide current comment? No.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't think I can show comments.
She's saying she has to do it. Okay.
She has to do it. Okay.
Oh, okay. Nah. New comments. I'm way off. Okay.
All right. So it looks like we've got Care for JC saying, Kelly, sorry I fell asleep last night. Woke up with just me watching.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, that was fun last night. I ended up getting in touch with Summer, and we figured it all out. As you can tell, she's in the background, and we only have 2 people on the screen. That's what we were hoping for. So glad you're here. Kimberly. Don Glove says, enjoy your stay. If you get a chance, take the Big
Thompson Canyon Road from Loveland to Estes Park and back. Loveland is only 20 minutes from
FC.
I think that's Fort Collins.
She's in Colorado right now.
Yeah, Dawn Gloves is in Colorado.
To Estes Park on Saturday.
Okay.
I don't know. My sister lives in Colorado Springs. Is that anywhere close to anything?
I have no idea.
I don't know either. That's where my dog came from, though. Colorado Springs. 30 minutes
drive through the canyon.
Breathtaking. Is it snowing in Colorado right now? I'm wondering. You would think there'd be snow, but maybe not. It's April already, so maybe it's starting to melt. I don't know. I don't live in snow. Barb says only 170 days till the cruise. You can still go. We're going to do a lot of healing then. Yes, we are.
Yep, and you can still book. You can still book the cruise. I got the deposit date pushed back to April 24th.
Oh, cool. We need to spread the word.
Spread the word. You can
Spread the
still book
word.
if you want to come with us.
Cool.
Yep, just drop me an email. My email's super easy. It's just my username, chowyunsmut@gmail.com.
Barbie Skin says, for me, I have to continually remind myself that I teach people how to treat me. You know, that's something I need to learn. Really, someone needs to teach me that because I'm not good at that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and that in itself can take a lot of work and a lot of soul searching for sure.
If you're not used to standing up for yourself,
yep,
it makes it hard. I finally got brave enough to stand up to my ex-husband I live with, but I had to get really mean to do it. You know,
it's terrifying the first few times that you do it. It really is. It does get easier, but it can be terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
Because he could kick me out. You know, that's why
Right.
it's scary. But I had to finally start taking up for myself because I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yep.
You know? And he didn't like it.
Yeah, they rarely do.
Hi, Brian. A wise fish goes nowhere without a porpoise. Aww.
Porpoises.
So sweet. So sweet. Okay. Well, I don't think there's too many questions. So we've been on here 1 hour and 6 minutes. That's great. Hi, Unstable Dave. That's Bilf.
Yeah, that's CO Bilf.
Okay. Thanks for being here. I'm so glad all of y'all came. Oh, it's up to 25. Wow.
Nice.
Last time I looked, it was like 18, and the time before that it was 9. So
good.
I'm so glad. Thank you guys so much. And we're gonna sign off. I wonder if you're
pain is heightened by a trauma response. That's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Susie, I want you to get in touch with me. I have something for you.
I would have loved to have gotten a reading of my cortisol levels during that time when I was working for the rehab place, for the residential place. I would love
I don't know anything about that cortisol. I know what dopamine. I know what that is, but I don't know all that other stuff.
Yeah, cortisol is something that you put out. It's a thing that's generated when you're in times of extreme stress.
Oh, okay.
And I really do wonder what my cortisol levels were at that point. I never had a reading of it, but I would have liked to find out.
Probably through the roof. This is so fun. Thank you so much, Cricket. I love you so much and I'm so glad you are here. Summer, thank you. I love you too. I love all of y'all. I don't have friends here in Jacksonville. I'm new here. I don't drive. So y'all have become my new family / friends. Like I said, my mom is disconnected from me. So I don't have family. My son still talks to me, thank God. But I do truly have a special love for you guys, and I'm glad I'm part of y'all's community. Y'all let me in. And we will see y'all later. Cricket, we'll see you later tonight, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We will be there.
Yay.
Thank you guys. Mwah. Bye.
Mwah.
Thanks, Summer.
Thank you for having me.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.